Y'all, I'm beyond pissed right now because I was up all day being productive and I sat down and I recorded this story time for y'all, but the audio was messed up. So now I'm gonna try to retell y'all the story because free will. I'm not about to get cute all over again on another day and sit up and pick a different outfit and do all of that just to tell y'all the story. I got free will as my channel, okay? So I'm gonna lay here and I'm gonna tell y'all the story about how I lost my childhood best friend of 10 plus years at prom. Okay, a little bit of a disclaimer. I think I said this at the start of my other video. I am a recovering people pleaser. So, um, I held myself back for so long from telling any stories about my past or like people in my life because part of me felt like I had to protect them in a way. But, these are my stories, these are my experiences. It's entertainment. Like, yeah, these are true stories, but at the end of the day, it's entertainment. I can share it if I want to. Um, I don't owe these people nothing. Y'all treated me like shit. I'm gonna talk about it. Okay. So, yeah. Also, if I do end up going back through the messages, I don't really think I'm gonna go back through the messages. I wish that the video didn't mess up because in real time, y'all could have seen me react to the text messages because y'all, it was a lot worse than I originally like recalled the situation to be. Like when I was telling the story, I really like it wasn't that bad until I went back and saw the messages myself and I was like, oh shit, like it was a lot worse than I remember it to be. And um trigger warning, I did talk a little bit about a situation with somebody with one of the people that essayed me because I was giving context as to why my responses to my friend were what they were at the time. So if I do end up going back through the messages or like giving y'all any like extra detail, I might, bring that up again. So if that makes you uncomfortable, I understand. You don't gotta watch that part. I really didn't go that deep into it, and I don't think I ever will go that deep into that story on this channel because there's a lot of weird people on the internet that like get off to people's trauma stories and stuff like that. So I'm just not about to feed it unless it's like a public figure or something. I don't think y'all should be feeding on people. But that's neither here nor there. Anyways, we're gonna get into the story about how I lost my childhood best friend. All right, so we're gonna go all the way back to how we met, why we became friends, etc. I'm gonna give y'all like all the details. If your attention span don't last that long, I did a short form version of this story on TikTok, so you can go over there if this ain't for you. Okay. All right. So boom. I am an only child. Okay. And I always felt like I was a little different and I was a little off. So, because of my upbringing, I was raised Christian, but when I feel like when you're a kid and you're raised into a religion, at least for me, I took everything that I was taught like super duper seriously. Like, you tell me to tell the truth, do the XYZ. Like, I took that shit very seriously. And so, when I got into regular school, it was like a culture shock. And I definitely want to make an entire video about that. But um, for context, I went to a Christian school, but them kids was not acting very Christian. Like, yeah, we did religious studies and XYZ, but them kids were nothing like I was and the way I was taught and the way I was brought up. So when I was around them, like I feel like it was very hard for me to get along with the other girls and like the other kids in my class. My class wasn't very big. I feel like it was like no more than 15 or 16 students when I was in kindergarten. But my school was K through 12. So, um it was just very strange. Like I had a lot of older kids that were my friends growing up. Like y'all might think I'm lying, but I swear to God, like my mom will tell you all type of stories. she could not believe that all these older kids was like talking to me and knew me, and whenever they would see me anywhere they would say hi to me and whatever. So yeah, like I had a hard time fitting in with people, fitting in with my classmates because of my religious upbringing and like my morals. Like I took my morals very seriously. The other girls in my class, they was focusing on dating and boys and grown shit, and I was not like that. I was the complete opposite. And so I gravitated toward this little boy. We're gonna name him Matthew. This little boy, he had a bowl cut, and we're gonna name him Matthew. And Matthew had a similar like background to me. When I met him, his mom was super duper strict, super duper religious, and you know, um, when I was a kid, I don't really have that many female cousins. Like I had literally two girl cousins growing up, and they were around my age. One was older than me, and the other one was a year younger. And I have so many stories about her, but it's neither here nor there. But I didn't see them all the time. Like I saw them maybe like once a year, or like if if not once a year, like maybe once or twice a year. But some years I didn't even see them at all. And most of the time when I was growing up, I spent with my older boy cousins. So I was a girly girl. Like when I was at home by myself, like I'm playing Barbies and da da da. But when I'm with my boy cousins, I love Pokemon. I love what was it? We used to spend so much time playing um Pokemon Stadium and uh what was that other game? Super Smash Brothers, like all of that. I love Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z. Like I loved being outside with my boy cousins, and I wanted to skateboard so bad growing up, but my mom said no because I was destroying my legs. Like I was always outside, like falling, scraping my knees, da da da. And so, when I met Matthew, we spent a lot of time together throughout the years. We met in kindergarten. I gravitated towards him, and oh, I forgot to tell you a story about in kindergarten. So there was this boy in kindergarten. I'll tell y'all that in a different story, okay, child. Anyway, um, so yeah, I gravitated towards him in kindergarten, and then every year after that, we stayed best friends all the way up until sixth grade. We were like this, right? And it was platonic. Like he's never flirted with me. He's never made me feel uncomfortable. I liked spending time with him so much that I started to go to church with him on Saturdays. And y'all, I hate church. Like I have my own church to go to on Sundays, but I really like spending time with him. So I decided to start going to church with him on Saturdays, and afterwards we would go back to his house and we play video games, we play outside, we would skateboard, you know, do kid shit, and his mom was super duper strict. She became like my bad, y'all. His mom was super duper strict. So my mom felt really comfortable with me, going over there and spending time over there. My mom was the type of parent like I could not spend a night over nobody's house unless they was family. And he was actually the one and only person that my mom ever let me spend a night over. Because she knew his mom was not gonna let nothing happen. He had siblings. He had an older sibling, and y'all gonna hear more about him later in the story and maybe another video. But yeah, like I would love to go over there. Like almost every weekend after church, we would go. And also I should mention at that church, a lot of people that we went to school with, a lot of our teachers and like other students that we went to school with, also went to that church. So you know, I wasn't going for the church reason. I was going to hang out with my best friend. And like I said, it was strictly platonic. I was not feeling him in that way. He was not feeling me in that way, as far as I knew. And so that was kind of what we did. And that went on for a while. I don't remember exactly when I stopped going to church with them, but I know in sixth grade, that's when I got kicked out of that school. Kicked out. Like it wasn't like actually kicked out, but it was like I was suggested to leave because I kept getting into fights and stuff, and the tuition was really expensive. My mom was getting tired of me getting suspended for defending myself, And also like the staff and like the teachers in there, they were really corrupt. And a lot of people was like, oh, maybe it's you, it's you, it's you. As soon as I left, other people started having the same issues. The school went downhill. Attendance, like the school, they was not getting that many students somewhere. Like they whole shit just crashed. And I have stories about that with my new school that I ended up going to and that school. Like everything that I was going through, people were like gaslighting me and trying to make me seem like I was a problem, or like maybe it was me, until I left. And then other people were having the same issues that I was having, and that's when they finally took action. So in reality, like I was really just taking a lot of the punches for the longest time. But anyway, we're not getting into that. So around sixth grade, that's when I finally left the school. Mind y'all, that year, I think it was that year, I literally got jumped by a little boy, and my best friend was the one. Matthew was the one to carry me to the office. Matthew was weird, okay, not like in a bad way. He was like a nerdy kid. He had a bowl cut for most of the time that I knew him, like all the way up until sixth grade or however long he had it. Child, he had a gap. He I'm gonna try to describe. I don't want to describe him because I feel like y'all gonna figure out who I'm talking about. Anyways, um, yeah, he was weird, and he liked his Pokemon. Like we would play Pokemon in class. I remember we used to get our like devices taken in the fifth grade because we had like this. We had a teacher in the fifth grade. That lady was under some kind of religious psychosis. Everything was fucking demonic to her. I probably would tell a story about her too. She would take our Pokemon games because Pokemon was the devil. Anyways, um, yeah, I forgot what I was telling you in the first place. Yeah, he ended up carrying me to the office after I got tackled by this boy because I didn't want to fight with this boy, so I started walking away, and he like tackled me from behind on this like dirt field, and it was like full of rocks and shit. Like my face, like my legs was scraped up, like I was fucked up, right? And so I also got into a fight for Matthew before because he was getting jumped. Like he was in a fight with like three other boys, and like I got into it. Like I got in the fight. It was, I used to fight, y'all. I don't fight no more, but I used to fight because I was not about to let nobody jump my best friend. Are y'all fucking crazy? And so after all those years, Matthew was less of like my best friend and more of like a sibling. I considered his mom to be like another mom to me. I called him my brother. He called me his sister. Like we were literally like this. It was platonic. It was familial. Okay. So in sixth grade when I left, um, we still talked. Like growing up, I feel like from maybe it started in like the fourth grade all the way up until like the sixth grade. We were always on the phone. It was either him or like one of my other friends, or we would be in like a 3 or 4 way call with some of our other classmates. Even like classmates that didn't really like me or I didn't like them, they were his friends, but like we still would be on the phone. Um, and then we had this like it was this messaging app called Chat and Go. I had a Chat and Go account. Like everybody in my class had a Chat and Go. We had Chat and Go. We had Uvu and we had Skype, but we mainly used Chat and Go and Uvu to like talk to each other if we were not on the phone. Because that was back when we had landlines, so we was always on a landline, like always talking, like all day, all night. And so, I remember when I ended up leaving, we still would talk all the time on Chat and Go, even if it wasn't on the phone. Like we would still just talk on Chat and Go. And then I don't exactly remember when that fell off, but we ended up like kind of like losing touch for a couple years until 2015 because my mom was strict and I wasn't allowed to have a Facebook. So I had, and it literally did not make sense because, girl, I had everything else. I had a Twitter, a Tumblr, an Instagram. I had every social online messaging app known to man. Um, what was the, I had AIM. Girl, I had everything. All of them online social games. I had an IMVU, a Second Life. Girl, I had a Zwinky. I had a Mies. Girl, I had everything. But I couldn't have Facebook because my mom was talking about some damn predators. I had a fucking kick, girl. And so in 2015, I was finally allowed to have a Facebook account. And that is when he and I reconnected. And I added him on Facebook. And that is when he told me that his mom had passed away. And y'all, I broke down real, real bad because, first of all, his mom was like really important to me. Like, I loved his mom so much. When I would go over there on the weekends, it was not just to spend time with him. I'm about to cry. What the fuck? It was not just spend time with him, it was spend time with his mom too. I really loved his mom. She was strict. Like, y'all, she was so strict that this nigga would get whooped in front of the class. Like, for real. Like, the teacher, like, if he would act up in class, the teachers would call his mom because they know his mom would come up there, and she would whip him in front of the class. Like, I feel like I seen that happen like 2 or 3 times, girl. It was crazy. So yeah, his mom was very strict. She did not play, and it was just like I really just liked being around them and his family because I was the only child. So when my mom was at work a lot, I spent most of my time with my uncle. I really just I wanted my sibling. I wanted, you know, I wanted to have those experiences because, girl, you can only play by yourself for so long. Anyway, he told me that she passed away. I don't remember exactly. Like, I tried to go through the messages, but literally, we talked so much. I was only able to get through a couple of the months of messages, but this was back in 2015. I'm pretty sure that he let me know that that had happened, and I was just so upset that nobody called me. I, like, nigga, you got all these. I guess like there was really no way for him to tell me or anybody to tell me. I don't know. But yeah, I found out 2015, and after that we kind of just like caught up on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, and we talked a lot. I wouldn't say like a lot in the beginning. It was just like here and there. And then I want to say it was like late 2016 we started talking like a lot more, because when I really got deep into the messages, um most of this took place in February 2017. Okay, please keep this in mind. This is February 2017. I was about I was 17, about to turn 18. Okay, and so he was already 18. And so um from the last video that I recorded, the video I recorded before this, I went back to try to see like how this started, because I remember in some of the earlier messages he revealed to me that he had a crush on me. He was like, "Oh, I had a crush on you ever since kindergarten when you had those blue eyes." It's so crazy, y'all, because when I recorded the video, I put in blue contacts for that reason, because I thought it was funny. But I ended up looking like a husky. Anyway, so yeah, that was one of the things he said. But from what I noticed from like the messages that I did read, the text that I did receive, like he would like flirt, but then would go back to regular conversation so fast that I would not have enough time to like really like process. Like, I really kind of just like brushed off his flirting, because like what? So yeah, he revealed to me that he had a crush on me, and then 2017 February he started asking like to hang out, right? Like, this this is the part that like shocked me, because I genuinely forgot, or like I didn't remember this. So I brought like we just were casually talking, and he asked me randomly in February 2017. He was like, "Do you have a crush on anybody?" And I was like, at the time, I forgot that I did have a crush on my best friend, my girl best friend from high school. I had a crush on one of her friends. So during this time, me and her both ended up doing homeschool. And so we would spend a lot of time together, just like around LA and Hollywood, doing our homework together, just like hanging out, being really cool teenagers, right? And so I had a crush on one of her friends. And so he says to me, he's like, why like be with him when you can have me? And I was just like, what? Because mind you, this is my best friend. And like I never saw him like that. And so he's like, haha, just kidding. Like, I wouldn't want you to date me. Or like I wouldn't date you or something like that. And I was like, why? And he was like, because I do nasty things. This is what he said, mind you. Like, I read these texts earlier. He goes, because I do nasty things. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like what? And he says, I make girls go down there. And I was like, what? And I feel like in the original video that I filmed, I feel like y'all would probably think I was fucking stupid because I was genuine. Like as I was reading these text messages, I was genuinely shocked by this information because he was weird. He was weird, and he was very like, because of his mom and his upbringing, he behaved a certain way, and he was never like perverted like the other boys that were in our class. Like I said, like the other people in our class were different. I didn't even I will tell y'all this in a different video. I will go through it in a different video, but he was just not like that, and I was not like that either. Like he had girlfriends, like he dated. This is another thing I touched on. Like I never would have ever thought he liked me because all his girlfriends were dark skinned. Like all the girls that he would have crushes on and talk to me about, like I was helping him get girlfriends. He had like maybe two girlfriends. So when I say girlfriends, I mean like just like those couple of people. They were dark skinned girls, and so not that I was like clocking his tea or like anything like that. I just never really thought about him in that way or thought that he thought about me in that way because he clearly had a type. And so um I was just so thrown off and so like confused when he told me this. And so as I was reading the text, like going through them, I was like, but you're a virgin, right? He was like, yeah. I was like, okay. And he was like, yeah, like I'm waiting for marriage. I was like, yeah, me too. And he was like, but he was like something about how he had so much respect for me or whatever. And I was like, all right. And then he was like, he it was somewhere where he switched because at first he was like, I don't want to date you or whatever because of that reason. And then he was like, but I would want to do it to you. And I was like, what the fuck? And for y'all that don't know me, like I feel like the only people that watch my channel are like people that know me IRL, but for strangers, the new people here, I was a very late bloomer in every single way. I didn't have a boyfriend until I was 18. I did not lose my virginity until I was 21. I did not go on a date until last year, girl. So I was not doing, like, at this age that this situation happened, I was not a sexual person at all. So I was just like kind of like scared and confused during this conversation because this was somebody that like I was close to. And for me, it was easy to like brush off strangers when they're talking to me sexually, but I felt like I didn't want to like lose my best friend in this moment. Like I was, like I said, I was a recovering people person. So as this was happening, I was just like kind of like thrown off a little bit. Like I was just like, I don't know what to say. Like I don't know how to like switch this conversation. So um I forgot exactly. I don't want to go back through the messages because it's literally so much to read, but I really want y'all to kind of like get the context of the conversation. I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as I can. Y'all, it's too much. So anyways, I just remember I'm looking at some of them. I can't go back as far as I did earlier because I was on my iPad and I'm filming on my iPad right now. But anyway, um I basically like told him like I don't know. Like I was like, yeah, I don't know about all that. And so I was like, I'll think about it. And so time goes on, we talk regular, and from what I remember from the text, we didn't hang out prior to this moment because he had a girlfriend. He was dating that girl from middle school. I'm saying this like I like how I recorded the first video. But he dated this one girl from middle school for a long time. And she was in our class. But then he told me that they broke up. That was not true. And I will tell you how I found out that that wasn't true way later. But anyway, he was telling me when he was talking about how he makes the girls go down on him, he was like, yeah, but they were my girlfriends, so I'm not like some hoe. And I was like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, like I'll do anything besides stick it in. And I was like, okay, like you're waiting until marriage. And he was like, yeah. I was like, all right, cool, cool, cool. And he was like, but I'll go down on you. Cause no, I think I asked him, I was like, okay, well, what are you doing for them? And he was like, nothing. And he was like, well, I'll go down on you. And I was just like, what the fuck? And so he was like I really want you to, da, 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 da. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really that type. Like I don't do stuff like that. And I was like, right now I'm like really looking for a mature relationship because for me, I always was like I was never the type of girl to casually date. I never wanted to casually date because I always knew exactly like word for word, bar for bar, what I wanted in a partner. And so when it came to like my classmates and stuff like that, like girl, they was fucking in like eighth grade. So like, and I know people who've been in relationships with each other since then. Like I know people who've been together since like the sixth grade and they're still together till this day. So um it's just like for me, I always knew that I wanted a serious mature relationship, and so I don't really engage in that type of stuff. And I was honest with him about that. I was like, yeah, like I don't really do that type of stuff. um it's not on my radar. And he was like, honestly, you might not agree with me, but it's just pleasure. It doesn't have to be awkward. It doesn't have to be, you know, strings attached or whatever. But he was like, because I know you and like I already feel comfortable with you, I feel like it wouldn't be awkward and it wouldn't like be an issue because like we already have like this, bond type of shit. And I was just like, yeah, no, but I'll think about it. Like I just said I'll think about it because like I said, I was a people pleaser. I didn't want to like lose my best friend. Like I didn't want to like not talk to him anymore. And I feel like if I reject him because of like my situations with other guys, when I would like tell them no or whatever, they would just stop talking to me altogether when they found out that I wasn't gonna fuck them. And so I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. And so as I'm reading these messages, like time and time went on, and we were just like talking regular, talking about life and planning to, like link up and hang out because like it never, like we never really, like our schedules kept colliding, or like I was just not at home. And it would be like a week or like a couple of days would go by and he was like, oh, have you thought about it? And I was like, yeah, I don't know, like I don't know. And he was like, I was like, maybe if we spend more time together I'll be able to form a different opinion, but right now, like, no. And he goes like, it's a moment thing. And I was like, what? He was like, it's an in the moment thing. And I was like, I don't want to jeopardize our friendship or make things weird. And he was like, it's not unless you make it. And I was just like I'm no, no. And so as I'm reading, time just like time would like pass and then he would randomly like bring it up again, like, oh, have you thought about it? Or like he was sprinkling like shit like this. So we're having a regular conversation and he goes like, I've been really horny lately. I was like, why? And he was like, I'm single, so I don't get that no more. And I was like, well, fap like the rest of the horny folks do. And that made me laugh because people really don't say fap no more. Like, anyway, I was like, yeah. He was like, LOL, yeah. I was like, duh, that solves everything. I was like, duh, that solves everything. He goes, I do, but I want you to do it. And I was like, I know, but I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. Um, if I started seeing you more often and maybe get more comfortable, then I maybe be able to think about it. And he puts a sad face, and I was like, um, and I was like, what if I get attached and stuff? That's why I don't do things like that. And he goes, I don't know, dude. I just been feeling like this a lot. Um, and then he says, right. Anyways, I understand. I would gladly wait. But the thing is, you said wait till we see each other more. But look how long it's taken us for us to see each other now. And I was like, yeah, but that's more on your side because like I don't go to school and I only go out like multiple times a week. So it's just when you have time to hang out. And he goes, tomorrow I don't have school. It's the best time. And I was like, yeah, but I'm getting picked up. So, like I said earlier, during this time, I was going out with my best friend a lot. Like we were always outside, like living our best lives because we were homeschooled and we can literally do our work anywhere and just like hang out and spend time together. So me and her were always out together. Um, let me see. So we're just talking about like video games, random shit. We talked about what we're doing after graduation. So fucking corny. Um, let me see. He's talking about his driver's test. Mm. And then he was still trying to come over. And so I was like, okay, you can come tomorrow at 2:30. He's like 1:30. I was like, sure. And he was like, have you decided the place or not? And I was like, for what? And he did like a emoji face. And I was like, you're just coming to my house. He was like, oh, I know, LOL. I was like, maybe we can walk to the park or something. I don't know. And he was like, you know what I mean. And I said, what are you doing with them? Like the emoji where the it's like a I can't even do the fucking emoji. The emoji where it's not a straight line, but it's like kind of like a slanted face, like dot dot slant face. I'm gonna try to put it in there anyway. I think this was the next day. So he said he was gonna come after his phone charge because he was telling me that he got 3%. He was like, I'm gonna go when I hit 20%. I was like, go when you're at 50 because I'm still getting ready. He was like getting ready. I was like, yeah, I just woke up. I need to do my hair and put on clothes. He said, put some leggings on, hard eyes. I was like, okay. And so I sent him my address and he said he was on his way. And then he said he can't. His teacher got me and he was like, I need to stay after school. I was like, so you aren't coming? So he didn't end up coming that day. I asked him if he's having grad night. They didn't have grad night. Um, he most of these texts are just him asking to come over, and then never came over. He asked me about my boobs, and he said like they look big. Y'all, it's so funny because this is it's not funny, but it's funny. Back then, like when I was in middle school, like maybe like eighth grade, I used to get made fun of for having a flat chest because all the girls in my class had titties, right? And so at this time where he's saying this, I was like 17. He said my boobs are big, but like now that I'm with my man, I met my man on Twitter back then, and my boobs were not that big back then. But this nigga was making it seem like my boobs are big. Because now that my man looks at my boobs, he's like, you did not have these boobs like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, what the fuck happened? I don't know. But he was like, they look big. He was like, I'm hella attracted to stuff like that. And I was like, they're just tits. I don't really care. Um, and he said, can I come over right now? I said, wow, you must be horny. He was like, I am, haha. Um, I was like, yeah, you can't come over in the middle of the night. He was like, I want to hump you so bad, dude. He said, I've always wanted to since sixth grade. Fuck you mean? I said six. I was ugly back then. This nigga said so. What the fuck do you mean so? I was ugly back then, but like, what do you mean so? I was like, and didn't you like blank here? I'm not gonna say the girl name, but like, didn't you like her back then? Because he dated her, and he was like, um, he was like, remember how she cheated on me a lot? And I was like, no, with who? And with who? And he was like, so and so. And I was like, no way. And I was like, I had no idea. Um, and then he asked me for a selfie. I sent him a selfie, and he sent me some heart eyes or whatever. Um, and he was asking me for more pictures, and I was like, what's in it for me? He was like, what do you want? I was like, I don't know. And he was like, BRB. And he was like, I just want to stick it in your mouth so badly. I do, y'all. I'm not even joking. I don't remember any of this happening. Like, I don't remember any of these conversations. Um, and so these are days passing. He asked me to come over. Didn't happen. Are you free today? Didn't happen. Um, like literally 90% of this is him asking to come over. I asked. Okay, so we're at May 2017. My prom, I feel like, was in late May. And so I asked him if he wanted to go to prom with me because last year I went with one of my guy friends. I went to my junior prom with one of my guy friends. And so I was like, "Do you want to go?" I told him the date of my prom, and I told him about the tickets. The tickets were only $60. He was like, 60 is a lot. When did the prices go up? Because I was telling him that the prices go up to $80. And so he asked me about when the prices went up. I let him know. He was like, "Okay, well, we got time." And so him asking to come over again. But this time he was like, "Is your mom gonna be there? Because I want to talk. I want to say hi to her." Like, "Yeah, she's always here." He was like, "Lit, okay." um, he was on the game. I was on the game. It's now like May 13th. I think it's the day. This is the day before the ticket prices go up. He messaged me up. Um, he was like, "Hey, you up?" And I was like, "Hey, so we doing this prom thing?" He said, "Probably not." I said, "Oh." He said, "It's kind of expensive anyway. I want to talk to you about it." I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "What are you doing tomorrow?" I was like, "I'm probably going to figure out like my prom stuff." And he said, "So can we hang out tomorrow?" I said, "Probably not." Like, you telling me probably not? Probably not. He was like, "Who you going with?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to try to work that out now." And he said, "I mean, I could go. I would, winky face, if you do something for me. Winky face, winky face, winky face." So basically, he was telling me he not spending that $60 to go to the prom with me unless I sucked his dick. Right, right, right. So, um, yeah, I didn't. I was just like, no, and he was like, "Okay, I guess that's a no." Okay, then, and then he sent me like a couple emojis. Like he sent me like, let me see, one, two, three, four, five. He sent me six winky faces, mind you. Like I've been telling you like over and over again. Like I've literally been dodging this situation. And I remember like as I was reading these messages about him asking to come over, I was dodging him so hard because like I don't want you to come over and try to do some shit with me. Like I was not about it. So um like most of the time we were having these conversations, I would kind of just like deflect or like kind of like, joke about it with him, but I was never like, "Yeah, let's do it." Like so we didn't talk again until June because I was never going to talk to him again. I was fully prepared to never talk to him again. But um, I mentioned a long time ago when he invited me to his graduation, I mentioned it to my mom. And because his mom passed away and my mom had so much love for him and his family, she was not going to miss his graduation. So she brought it up again and she was asking me like what time to start, like when is it? And so I messaged him and I was like, "What time does I was like, what time is your graduation? Uh and do I need a ticket?" He gave me the information. So I went. This was after not talking to him for like a whole month. And so y'all, basically the story between me and him and our friendship ended before we even got to prom. I did go to prom. I went with my best friend, my girl best friend, and one of her friends. Because the year previously, I went with her and one of my guy best friends. So it was just me, her, and her guy best friend. Well, not her guy best friend, but her guy friend. That was the whole thing. But the story between our friendship really ended when he was like, "I'm not going to prom with you unless you suck my dick," and I was like, "No." So yeah, he was trying to coerce me to get to the business, and I was not getting to the business. But the beginning of a different story started after he invited me to his after party at after his graduation. He was like, "We eating at my house if you want to come." Girl, I seen his brother at his graduation, and mind y'all, I had a crush on his brother ever since I was younger. And so when he was talking to me at his graduation, girl, mind you, I have never had a boyfriend. I wasn't even talking to dudes like that. But this boy was like, he was talking to me, and I could tell he was feeling me. So I was like, we we going to that after party. And so, if y'all want to hear the story about how I ended up dating his older brother, it's not a good, like, it's not a positive happy ever after story, but it's very juicy and entertaining. But yeah, I went to um his house afterwards and saw his family and whatever. And girl, why was his girlfriend here? The one that he said he broke up with, the one that was still his girlfriend. She was at that party, and I seen his sister because me and his sister was always like close, and she gave me the tea, and he was getting kind of jealous and stuff because his brother was trying to talk, like his brother was talking to me like casually, and we were just like talking for a long time, and like it was a point where like certain people went to the store to get like more food, and then certain people went in the house, and he didn't see me anywhere, and he was getting jealous because me and his brother were like talking for a long time, and he comes outside and he's like, y'all come in the house, like nobody wants to hear about your stupid fucking music. And he was basically like trying to get me to come in the house and like stop talking to his brother, but girl, no. I'm finna go in the house and your brother finna show me his songs. And that is what he did. But anyway, after that, like I really didn't talk to him until the end of that month, and I invited him to my graduation, and he was like, "Oh, I gotta work," and he didn't come. Mind y'all, nobody really showed up for my graduation but my mom and my uncle. So you know, um, so after this, I go really cold. I feel like at this point, like I just lost all respect and all like connection to him. So he invited me out to go paintballing, and I was just like, I'll see, you know. And then he messaged me again in August, trying to hang out. And he was like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, oh, I'm going to a job interview. And then in 2018, I didn't talk to him again until March 2018. He was like, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm going to pick you up. And I said, what? He said, what are you doing tomorrow? I will pick you up. And I was like, why? And he was like, to hang out. And I was like, I'm going to a party. And he was like, can I go? I was like, no. And he was like, I have no plans tomorrow. I'm trying to do something. I was like, oh, damn, I'm sorry. And then he didn't message me again until May 30th. He was like, oh, damn, you cute. And I was like, thanks. And he sent me a winky face. But like literally after that, after what is this, March 2020, we never spoke again. The last conversation was May 2018 when he was like, I'll pick you up. And then after that, March 2020, or what did I just say? Something 2020. We never spoke again. Um, he still follows me, I think. So who knows? He might see this video. But yeah, like he ruined our friendship because he really wanted me to suck his dick, and I didn't want to suck his dick. That is all. But back then, I really had an issue with like losing people. Like for me, it was like I cared about like the memories that we had and like the friendship that we had. So to me, like I didn't want to tell him no and then he like change or switch up on me. I don't think he would have, because like the way he was talking to me afterwards was like as if nothing ever happened and he never brought that shit up again. But yeah, I was just kind of like entertaining him enough to like, keep the friendship. And I feel like I did that a lot back then when it came to those situations. Um, I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna get too deep into the situation with the person that did what he did to me. But when I was in high school, people would ask me about that person a lot because he was popular. I went to an all girls school, but we had a brother school that we did a lot of things with, and um, a lot of girls wanted him. That nigga was ugly as fuck though. Like I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Like that nigga was fucking chopped. Like he still is fucking ugly. And I don't understand why people was kept asking me to put them on with him, because like we're not blood related, but like he was close to the family, and he was like 3 or 4 years older than me or something like that. That nigga was fucking chalk. Anyway, and so people will always like girls will always come up to me, ask me to put them on, put them on with my cousin, and I was just like, girl, put yourself on. Like I can't. I barely talk to him. But like I said, this is when I made a Facebook, and so he would message me all the time to hang out and stuff. And at the time, I felt like I worked through my trauma and like the things that I had endured growing up. It's like I brushed it off. Okay, like I literally like brushed it off, and I tried to forgive and move on. And with that situation, he kind of like restarted my entire growth situation because like I was just coming to terms with everything and like I said, trying to move on and try to like reconstruct my mindset around intimacy and like sex and everything like that. Until one day he messaged me something and he was like, I always want to take your virginity, which let me know that he fully knew what he was doing and he fully intended to do what he did. And so I never spoke to him again after that. He kept trying to like meet up with me and link up with me. Like when I would see him at like school events and shit, like I would avoid him like the plague. Like he would try to talk to me, but like I would avoid him like the plague. It was just anyway. So like before he even said that, like I was just being kind because like I said, like I would see him all the time. Like I would see him all the time, either at like family stuff or like school stuff. So I was just trying to be polite and you know move on from that situation. And so like he said that, and so like I noticed that a lot of the time back then when a guy or that I had kind of like a relationship with, when they would do weird shit that made me feel uncomfortable, I would kind of just like try to keep the peace until like I don't know what happened. I honestly don't know when that switched in my brain and I started to be like a bitch to men because like I loved being a bitch to strange men. Like me and my friends growing up, when I had a kick, I made a bunch of friends off Instagram. I want to say when I was like in like the 8th grade. We're still friends to this day. Shout out to y'all. We still have a group chat. We literally grew up together. I loved when men would text me inappropriately because like I would do weird shit to either scare them or like just curve them and make them feel like shit. Like we had a whole Instagram dedicated to like that type of shit. I was a minor and these grown ass niggas was like harassing me and bothering me. I didn't mind. But when it came to somebody that I knew or that I had like a close relationship or bond with and they made me feel uncomfortable, I was trying to like diffuse the situation. I don't know why. I honestly don't know why, but I'm not like that anymore. Like I don't give a fuck who it is. Like I will hurt your feelings. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm embarrassed that I let him basically beg me and try to coerce me for so long. Like it was honestly so annoying. Like he would bring it up like every few days if he didn't hear anything, if I didn't bring up anything sexual. Like I just honestly used to hate when men would try to talk to me like that. I feel like I didn't get better until after 2019, my Discord phase. Like y'all don't understand. When I first made a Discord account, I had never gotten that much male attention, and male attention terrified me. When I got on Discord, I was fucking terrified. Okay, I had a Discord since 2015, but I didn't really use it. And girl, when niggas was trying to talk to me on Discord in 2019, girl, I was scared. I'm a grown woman. Like I think I was like 19 or 20 at the time. Girl, I had never had that many niggas trying to talk to me ever. And I was scared. Like, I was so fucking scared. And that really, like, shaped me into really being a man hater. Like, it really shaped me into, like, really being strict. I was strict before that with strangers. Like, when I first met my man, he will tell you my first message, like, one of the first things I ever sent him when he DM'd me, I was like, you better not be trying to talk to me. Because, like, I was not having it. Like, girl, but yeah, that's the story. I don't want to yap for too much longer because I still got to edit this video. But yeah, that's the story of how I lost my best friend of 10 plus years. We've been friends since kindergarten. And him giving me that ultimatum for prom is really what destroyed our friendship. And I haven't talked to him since. He been talking to himself in my DMs on Instagram. Should I open one? I don't want to be petty. I really don't want to be petty, but let's open one of his DMs on Instagram. Hold on. We had a sleepover right now, girl. We had a sleepover and we just doing shit. Okay. It's just him responding to my it's just him responding to my damn stories. That's so boring. I really thought it was some tea up in here. Boo. He the last thing he said was a laughing emoji because of some stupid shit I posted on my story. Anyway, that was anticlimactic, I'm not gonna lie. That really was. I really thought it was some shit up in there. But yeah. Um comment, like, comment. It was my light dying. Anyway, like and comment if y'all want to hear the story about how I ended up being his brother. And I will tell y'all some other stories here and there and everywhere when I think of them. Um, subscribe to be along for the ride. I will be back streaming on Twitch. I really have a strong craving to stream on Twitch again. Like, I miss streaming. I will be back streaming real soon. And yeah, I'll be back with more story time soon because I got a lot of shit to tell y'all. Okay. All right. Thanks for putting up with this kind of like ghetto impromptu video. Bye.
Got ARPs and Glock jams, don't trip, it's plenty poles. Swing the back door, I'm the back end, bitch, I'm throwing foes. Shorty throwing foes, I'm throwing balls back out of overthrow.